Tony La Russa isn't necessarily the most popular manager in baseball. Okay, well, I guess he is pretty popular, kind of, but not quite in the best way possible. From the moment the Chicago White Sox hired La Russa to run their ship again, a ton of criticism went their way. A lot of teams nowadays are going with the trend of hiring younger guys to be their manager. Guys like Gabe Kapler, Alex Cora, AJ Hinch, Kevin Cash, etc. Basically, guys who aren't a couple steps away from a nursing home. However you feel about that is up to you, but as far as hiring younger managers goes, I definitely feel like there's a really good thing about having your manager be a little younger and someone the players can relate to a little bit more, rather than someone who played during the Civil War. A bit of old schoolness is definitely necessary, but so is some of the new school. It's all about balance, at least in my eyes. With that all being said, Tony La Russa is pretty darn old school. Now, I'm from the outside looking in here, and I don't know exactly how Tony La Russa fully is as a person, but he may not be the best fit for the White Sox as their manager, or for any team as their manager. And White Sox fans are the first people to tell you that, publicly chanting to get him fired. Just days after the 2020 season ended for them, the Chicago White Sox decided to fire their manager Rick Renteria, a guy who had just led the White Sox to their first playoff berth since 2008 and won American League Manager of the Year. They fired that guy, or agreed to part ways, which is the way they put it, and the hunt for a new manager was on. AJ Hinch and Alex Cora were on the block, two guys who had been suspended for the 2020 season due to the Astros sign stealing scandal, and they were both good options for the Southsiders, especially Hinch. With Cora likely going back to Boston, which of course ended up happening, AJ Hinch seemed to be the guy the other Sox were going for, until they went out and hired Tony La Russa, who was 76 years old. This got a ton of criticism going the White Sox way, with many people criticizing White Sox chairman Jerry Reinsdorf, accusing him of making a personal decision rather than one that's best for the team. But Reinsdorf, someone who's had a long-lasting relationship with La Russa, he denied that, saying that his hiring was not based off of friendship, but for the fact that they have the opportunity to bring in one of baseball's best managers in history to their dugout to manage a team that's ready to win. Okay, fair. Maybe La Russa was a really good manager. Keyword, was. He has won a great deal as manager, winning 6 pennants, 3 World Series titles, and 4 Manager of the Year awards while being inducted into the Hall of Fame, all because of it. With that being said, that all happened in the past in much different eras than today. The White Sox had a very young team at the time, so your first option to hire as manager is someone who would become the oldest in the game? Okay, a little weird, but let's see how it worked out. It all started last year when Tony La Russa called out his own player, Yermin Mercedes, for hitting a home run on a 3-0 pitch with the Sox up big, calling him clueless because he was a rookie and that he would have a clue now, going on to defend the Twins' decision to throw at him the next game. It was pretty absurd, and White Sox players thought so too. For example, pitcher Lance Lynn had some stuff to say on the matter, saying that the more he's played the game, the more those unwritten rules have gone away. As for what La Russa thought on Lynn's comments, he said that Lynn has a locker and that he has an office. There was another point last season where Lucas Giolito seemed to be left in the game too long, and even admitted afterward that he didn't have much left in the tank. That's probably something La Russa should know. Even though those things did happen throughout the course of the 2021 season, the White Sox did win 93 games, winning the American League Central Division but losing to the Houston Astros in the ALDS. Not a bad year at all for a team with a manager that doesn't quite seem to fit, but as for this year, it hasn't been great. The White Sox haven't started where they left off last regular season, and as of most recently, Tony La Russa has been at the center of criticism. In a game recently against the Dodgers with the White Sox down just 2 runs with a guy on, La Russa decided to intentionally walk Trey Turner with 2 strikes. That's right, Trey Turner was in the middle of an at-bat with a 1-2 count on him, getting intentionally walked to get Max Muncy up against the left-handed pitcher. And what did Muncy do? Smoke a 3-run homer to make it 10-5. Pretty weird move to put someone on first base when they have 2 strikes against them, but La Russa decided to do it anyway, and it cost him. When asked about it in his post-game interview, he doubled down on his move, acting surprised that it was even a question to begin with, saying it wasn't a tough call to make and that he'd do it again. For some context, Max Muncy is hitting really poorly this year against lefties, and really overall, but especially lefties. In La Russa's eyes, it was smart to face him instead of Turner. But Turner had 2 strikes on him, so that kind of argument is weird. And in a game recently where the White Sox had blown a 5-0 lead against the Texas Rangers, White Sox fans have seemed to have had enough. and this is what could be heard by the crowd.
Have a lead late.
The fans have had it, and I don't blame them. Tony La Russa was a great manager back in his day, but I don't think it's his day anymore. Let me know what you think of Tony La Russa, and thank you for watching.